Welcome to Only One You Need Radio. We're not the only one you need. You are. We just show you how to get out of your own way. With your host, speaker, author, business coach, and consultant, David Dubé.
David Dubé here. I want to thank you for joining me today on Only One You Need Radio. We're talking about the 4 stages of belief. This is some awesome stuff. This is amazing stuff. You know, last episode we started to talk about belief. And belief is something that is always going to permeate in the discussions that we have. It always is. There's so many stories about that one word that make life thrilling and exciting and crappy and demeaning, and there's so many ways to look at life, and all of it has to do with our interpretation through our beliefs. And talking today about the 4 stages of belief is paramount to this experience that we're talking about, and to everything else that's going to come after this that we will be discussing and talking about. It's vitally important. It really is. Truly, truly. So I'm really excited to share it with you. And I'm trying to think of anything else that I need to reference prior to talking about the 4 stages of belief. Either way, this is when you realize this information, when this stuff becomes like ingrained into you, as I said prior, and if you've been listening to this, you know that I often say people get things, but they seldom understand them. And belief is one of the things that people really don't understand. If we dug deep into who we are as people, we would realize there's so much more to be had yet. And it's, to me, you know, if I could pull out more hair, I might, but I can't, so I'll digress on that specific topic. But the idea is life is full of emotion, so we can find our true self. And those emotions on either side, positive, negative, anchor us to our beliefs. And those beliefs then become like the springboard in which everything's bounced off of, right? We reflect life off of our belief systems. Everything. So this creates the interpretation of good and evil, positive and negative, all based on those things. And so when you really understand the structure of beliefs, life really can become, it's like eating a curry dish for the first time that's both sweet and spicy. There's this, I mean, just think of like your favorite fruit or your favorite vegetables, favorite anything that you just bite into, and feeling and tasting that in your mouth, that flavor, you know, your palate is being filled with just juices of joy. That's what this can open up for you. But instead of it just being something you eat, it's something you can consume as a whole, a totality of person. And to me, that's exciting. This is why I live life. I live life to feel. That's it. You live life to experience. And the only way to have like super high highs is to have those low lows. If you can't feel one, you can't contrast it to something to feel the other. You have to have both. And this is what makes life fucking exciting. It really does. And I apologize if kids were around when I said that, because it can be so much greater than we give it credit for. And when you, I don't want to say chase the emotion, but kind of that's what you want to do. You want that taste of ecstasy, and you want it to get sharper. You want it to get deeper. You want to feel it to the end. You want to feel it past where you've been before. That's what makes life exciting. I'm not saying, obviously, you don't necessarily want to go to the depths of the lows that far. But in contrast to where you've already been, that's how exciting the positives get. But if you don't know one, you can't know the other, right? If you've never tasted sour, you'll never understand sweet. If you've never been cold, you never know how warm you really like it, or maybe vice versa. But truly understanding what it's like to be cold will truly give you the idea of what you will like it to be warm. I know that. So the 4 stages of belief. This is awesome. When I figured this out, I was kind of beside myself. I don't recall reading this anywhere. I feel like this was an epiphany moment that I've had, and I've taught this to countless people since I figured this out. And I don't know if I want to take credit for it, this came from me, but I don't remember reading it anywhere. So if someone reads this somewhere and they can say, hey, I can cite, this is where I found it, then please let me know. But I don't know anyone who's ever talked about this way. So, and I'm not trying to say I'm like original by saying that either. But the 4 stages of belief, this is when I figured this out, this changed my life. And hopefully this could do the same for you. The first stage, the one we predominantly start at when it comes into belief of anything. So there's, 4 stages. The first one, people find this one on Sundays. This is the only time of the week people find this one, for the most part. I can't say not everyone's this way, but for the most part, people find this on Sunday. And then after that, they go ho-hum back to their regular lives, sealed in their envelope, doing what they do every single day like clockwork. And that's hope. Hope. This is where we start. We start with hope. Hope is okay. Hope is okay. And for many people, hope is great. Hope is great for many people. If you're listening to this, hope is just okay, though. See, it's great for those who haven't had any further experience from it. So I'm going to relate a lot of this to the experience of church, and not for any other reason than it's just easily relatable, and not because I'm trying to tell you to go to church. Okay, that's not the purpose of this at all. So, this is for the most part a non-religious radio show. So I'm not trying to get into it, but I want you to have an understanding of this, and to do that, let's relate it. I'll bring other aspects in as well, but understand that when I talk about the church part, it's for only relationship reasons, period. So most people only find hope on Sunday, and after that, they go back to their regular lives, which are hopeless. For the most part, most people feel hopeless in their regular lives. Tell me if I'm wrong. But when I look into the world, I see a lot of hopelessness. People, ho-hum. Now, they don't have to be. But if you think about it, what hope is it's the wick that they carry, right? As if we are a candle, and someone is trying to light that candle, right? Because you're sitting in church, and hopefully the person, the pastor, the deacon, whomever is orating, is doing so trying to inspire you. And so what they're trying to do is light that wick with a spark. That's what hope is. Now, for the people who are not, right, who are hopeless and are hard to find anything else, when they do find hope, for them, that's amazing. But now for those of you listening to this, you're further than that. And so hope is just okay. Now, if you're depressed, hope is awesome, once again. But it's okay. We want to progress above hope. We want more than what hope brings. Hope is like a wish. That's a good way to liken it. Hope is like a wish. Right? You can wish for stuff. You can hope for things. But that doesn't make them happen. We'll get to how that happens shortly. So we move further than that. And what's better than hope? Well, it's faith. Faith is that next step. That's when the candle is actually lit. The candle stays lit. Now you leave and the hope goes with you. Because when someone has faith, they're trying to help spread hope. That's pretty awesome. So we go from okay to damn, that's good. We just went to good. Now, mind you, if all you've known has hope, then faith is pretty awesome. But for you listening to this, it's okay. I mean, it's good. It's better than hope, which is okay. So as this builds, you begin to see the steps other people go through around you. You know, if you have a son, a daughter, a neighbor, a relative who's depressed, they've lost hope. You get that? They lost their okay. But you have to be good in order to get them there. You have to be a step higher to get them there. This is why people, when the average Joe looks at someone who makes a lot of money, and they think, I'll never get there. That guy's an asshole. I'll never get there. They're too far removed, right? They're too separated from that experience. But the person who's just above them, who just got that promotion, can say, hey, you can get it too. And it becomes more believable. Right? So the closer you are to that person, the easier it is to move them. The further you are from that person, the harder and more difficult it is to move them. You can, but it's not as easy as if you're one step ahead. So what is the next stage? So we've gone through two. There's two stages so far. Hope, which is okay, which is awesome if you have none. To faith, which is awesome if you've, right, got none, but which is good. Now, I also, before we get to the third one, let's go further into faith. How faith works. Faith is, once again, relating back to the church, is believing the Bible. And I'm not saying that's good, bad, or indifferent here. I'm just saying that's what it is. It's not your story. It's not your neighbor's story. It's their story. But you believe that story. And that is faith. Right? I have faith that this is real. I have faith that this is true. Now, you don't know it's true besides what you just read. So it is faith, right? Because you're going on word. It's like me telling you a story, and if you believe the story, then you have faith that it's true, right? You have faith in me that the story is true. That's what reading a book is. What's the next step? This next step is belief. Belief is the third step in the 4 steps of belief. Get that. And so how does this work? Well, because after faith, you have belief. Let me explain. Belief is, now your neighbor had an event and they were healed, or something happened, like they won the lottery. Oh, no. I believe that, right? It happened to someone you know, as opposed to third party. You see, if I tell you a story, it's third party. Now, if it happened to me, it can be first party, right? You're next to me. But if I'm telling you a story about my brother or my sister or of a friend or a family member or something I read, right? That's third party. But if it's my personal experience, if it's your neighbor's personal experience, if it's your best friend's personal experience, then you believe that. You're second party to it. That's the second stage. Now, once again, belief is great, right? But it's not awesome. Now, once again, it's awesome if all you've known was hope, then it's awesome. So what would the next step be? What would the next step be? There's only one step further than belief. There's only one step further than belief. And that is, well, how do I put it? So right now I'm sitting in my office, at my desk, and I don't know, you probably heard that, right? That's the desk. I have this knowing that happens. I'm sitting here at this desk. I know this desk is here. Know it. I can feel it. I can touch it. I know it. Knowing it, because you are first person to it, is the 4th stage. It is, you've embodied it. You've become it. It is you. There is nothing other than you. It is like, there's no separation between you and it. That is knowing. This is when the event happens to you. See, there's a lot of people who talk about this, what is the word? The abundance factor, this life of abundance. I'm trying to think of, like, I don't know why I'm looking around my office here. I guess I'm looking at my bookshelf more than anything else. And I don't have any of those books there, but, thinking of this, the idea of the life of abundance, and why can't I think of it? I'm not sure, but I know you know, right? You know what I'm talking about. And the reason people miss it is because they believe it, but they never believe it for themselves. And when you never believe it for yourself, it'll never be true for you. That's the whole purpose. That's the whole thing. That's the separation between you and what you truly desire in your life. It's not belief that's missing. You believe it because you've seen other people. Remember, you're probably second party to someone who's got what you want, but it's not you. And therefore, because it's not you, once again, you believe it, but you haven't embodied it. That's the difference. Between you and what you want, you haven't embodied it. It is not true to you because you don't believe it to be true for you. You believe it to be true, once again, but for you, no. This is the difference between those who have and those who have not. The ones who have not, they don't believe it's true for themselves. You need to know. There has to be this implicitness within you for it to happen. Like, this blows my mind, and I've gone way too long on this episode. But to me, this is one of the most epic things to know. To know is to know. There's no separation between the what isness and the knowingness of it. And when that happens, when that occurs, it is yours. It has to be yours. There's no separation between the two. And because so many people do not understand this aspect, they never have it. And they will say, I believe it, but they'll never believe it true for themselves because they don't embody it. That's it. Anyway, I could talk for another hour or 4 on this subject. As you can tell, I'm pretty impassioned about it. That's how I feel about so many things, and that's obviously why I created this radio show. So once again, I want to thank you so very much for joining me today. Do me and yourself a huge solid. Go into the iTunes little thingy, rate this channel, write a little, blurb about it, post it for us, because this isn't just for me, this is for us. I understand that you might like this content and you may never want to share it with someone else because it's either that good or that crappy. I don't know, but I won't know unless you post and give me feedback. So not only is it giving me feedback, but then other people get to see it and they can say, well, this guy sucks and I don't want to listen to him. Or the opposite, which is this stuff's pretty dang awesome. And we need more people to listen to this because if they knew this stuff, if they understood this stuff, well, guess what? This whole world could change and be, greater than it is. And to me, that's my purpose. That's our purpose together. So join me and let's do that. Also, join the Facebook Only One You Need radio show. Find me on Facebook, and then I'll connect you to it unless I end this with another ending before sooner or later. So if there ends up being a second ending to this podcast, to this show, it's because I've created it and there's a place for you to go already. So on Instagram, you just find my profile and there will be an invite link on there. I can guarantee you that. All right, guys, thanks so much. I love and appreciate each of you. Be, believe, become. Be the person you're meant to be. Believe in all that you're capable of and become more than you.